Okay, before we get into this video, I just want to say that how am I at 900 plus subscribers? When only a few weeks ago I just hit 800 plus. I have a whole bunch of things I want to say, but for now, I'll just say that thank you all for watching and liking my videos. This channel was just for fun, seeing how I had so many ideas that went to waste, but now seeing how people actually enjoy my content makes things more serious. Anyways, for this video it was requested by this person here. I'm sorry if this video isn't good. To be honest, I was having trouble writing AranKita because I wasn't too familiar with the ship, and there's not a lot of stories or fanart to help me understand them. So I tried my best. Please enjoy. Aran wanted to say that he was fine, but that would be a lie. He wasn't ready for this. He told himself that he was, but the truth is that he wasn't. Marriage. That was something Aran never thought of. That was until he met his high school sweetheart, Kita Shinsuke. The love of his life, his forever mate, the man he will spend the rest of his life with. But the truth was that Aran was scared. Marriage was scary. He was worried that he wouldn't be enough. Being a beta and Kita being an alpha, it was almost impossible for them to have kids of their own. It didn't help that Kita's family wasn't very approving of their relationship, and finding out that the next heir to their business couldn't have kids made them even less supportive. Aran didn't know how to deal with the fact that his mate's family didn't like him. He started worrying about the future. What if Kita leaves him for an Omega, someone who can have kids and someone who could please the Alpha's family? What if Kita regrets marrying him? All these what-ifs found their way into his head. Paranoia seeped into his body. He was so stuck in his head that he didn't hear the voice of his fiancée. Hands touched his shoulders. The hands gently shook him, trying to shake him out of the thoughts he was stuck in. Darling, are you okay? You weren't answering me when I was calling you. Oh, Kit Kat. I didn't know you were home, he said, trying to change the conversation. Kita hummed, looking at his soon-to-be husband. Are you okay, dear? Aran nodded. I didn't make dinner today, so let's eat out. Kita nodded as he hugged his fiancée before leaving to change out of his suit. Aran jolted out of his sleep. Endless paranoia and second-guessing himself. He wanted to tell his mate. He wanted to share all his worries so that they can tackle this problem together. But the mere thought of Kita knowing how much he second-guessed their relationship had him not sharing anything. So he went to talk to two people who most likely wouldn't help with his worrying. They would probably make it worse. He knew that, but they were the closest he had to friends. After high school, he lost contact with everyone except a certain pair of twins. Atsumu, Osamu, and Aran sat in the practically empty cafe. Osamu ate cake after cake, cookie after cookie. He consumed every item that was on the menu. Atsumu teased his twin, but that ended up with him having a bright red slap mark on his cheek. Aran stared at the two twins. One has a large belly, showing that there would be a new addition to their family, and the other already having a family of his own. Aran couldn't help himself when the feeling of envy presented itself. The twins were parents or were about to be. While he couldn't have that pleasure, he would never get to see mini Kitas running around. He would never be able to raise a family with the man he loved. With that thought alone, he found himself frowning. So why did you call us here? He asked, trying to help the beta out of his thoughts. Did Kita-san do something? Aran shook his head at Osamu's accusation. It's just that. Atsumu raised his eyebrow as he gestured for the older beta to finish on. I'm doubting everything. I'm doubting whether Kita loves me, I'm doubting whether marriage is for me, and Aran found himself hyperventilating. The words spilled out of his mouth endlessly. Some sentences didn't make sense, some words didn't sound right, but the beta couldn't stop talking. After bottling everything, he just had to let it all out. The twins stared at their former upperclassman. They immediately noticed the distress radiating from the beta when he first walked into the cafe, but neither of them said a word, wanting to wait until the beta made the first move to speak. Which he did. After some help. Now they understood why the beta was distressed. You do know that Kita-san proposed to you knowing that you were a beta? Yeah, but. And you do know that he loves you. If he didn't, he wouldn't have proposed, he probably wouldn't even have dated you all this time. I know, but. If you knew, you wouldn't be reconsidering your relationship. I'm not reconsidering the relationship, I'm second guessing if Kita wants to get married. So you're second guessing the relationship. Aran sighed, knowing that the twins made a good point. I should talk to him. Atsumu nodded while his heavily pregnant twin was too busy stuffing his face with sweets. Atsumu gently elbowed his twin. You know you should cut down on the sweets, you're getting B. The air around Osamu turned sour. Are you calling me fat? He yelled out. The small group of Omegas that walked into the bakery stared at Atsumu in a bothered way. Aran left the table, not wanting to be in the middle of the twins arguing. He walked out of the bakery, hands stuffed into his pockets. I really need to talk to him. He nodded to himself before walking home to see his mate. Arriving at the small home, Aran looked towards the floor, not seeing his mate's shoes. Almost sighing in relief, Aran jumped when he felt cold hands touch the nape of his neck. He looked over to see his mate with a frown on his face. After sniffing the air, he noticed the faint smell of sour alpha pheromones. Kit. Sit. Aran, not listening, tried to grab at his mate's hand. Kit-ka. Sit. Although Aran wasn't an Omega, so Kita's alpha tone wouldn't work with him, the sound and anger in the alpha's tone of speech made the beta collapse onto his knees, hoping to please the disturbed alpha. What's wrong? A low but sharp growl filled the already irritated air. Are you thinking about leaving me? The way Kita asked the sentence held no emotion, as if he didn't care whether Aran answered yes or no. His tone made the beta shiver, clearly not used to Kita's anger being turned towards him. I wasn't. Don't lie. I've been trying to ignore it, but I can't anymore. Before Aran can even speak, Kita turned towards him, brown eyes narrowed towards his shaking body. You've been distant lately, jumping at the sound of my voice. You would flinch when I touch you. I haven't been. You have. Now the pain started to ooze out. So much hurt and agony could be heard through his shaking voice. Just say it now. You're planning on leaving me? Aran couldn't take it. He got up and raced towards his alpha. Hugging the distressed alpha, he let out his soft yet calming pheromones. I would never leave you. Then why? I was scared. Scared that you would regret marrying me, scared that you would see that your family was right about us. And Kita held his mate. Both of them soaking up the pheromones they both let out. I love you. I would never leave you, even if my family doesn't approve of us. Aran smiled at his mate's words. I love you too. I'm sorry for not communicating better about how I was feeling. The two held onto each other longer, basking in the long-needed talk. A few months later, Aran smiled. He stood in the mirror fixing his white bow tie. Today's the day. The coming together of the Kita family and the Aran family. Are you ready? Aran nodded. I'm a little nervous, but I want to marry him. Aran's mother smiled. There's nothing to be nervous about, everything is perfect. She kissed her son's head. Now get out there. Miyako and Yuko both stood in the ceremony wearing matching outfits, Miko being the ring holder and Yuko being the flower girl. Yuko threw beautiful rose petals onto the aisle. Miko stood on the side holding the two rings. Aran walked down the aisle. The smile wouldn't leave his face. His white tuxedo stood out compared to his mate's all-black one. As soon as their eyes met, it was like they were meeting for the first time again. Aran's stomach was filled with butterflies, his eyes were watering, but he willed himself not to cry. Kita was the same. His stomach felt as if it was filled with tiny butterflies that wouldn't stop fluttering. His cheeks were tinted pink and his brown eyes welled up with tears, but they went unnoticed by everyone except his mate. Kita couldn't help but let out a soft sigh in contempt when his mate stood in front of him. With their hands interlocked and matching smiles, the ceremony started. The priest smiled at the couple. "I now pronounce you husband and husband." Before the priest could finish, Kita pulled his husband close and placed a kiss on his lips. As soon as their lips met, it was like magic. There they knew that they were destined to be together. You made it to the end of this video. I hoped that this was alright and it wasn't completely horrible. I wasn't 100% confident writing this, but I tried my best. By the way, if some of you guys didn't know, Yuko and Miko are from my Sakuatsu Omegaverse AU. You don't have to watch those videos if you want to know who Yuko and Mieko are. They are Atsumu and Sakusa's kids. Anyways, I'll be posting the happy ending of the Tsukiyama Hanahaki disease soon. Have a great day.